She lost. Eala lost tonight, and the scoreline was not pretty. Coco Gauff beat her 6-0, 6-2 in just over an hour, and Gauff is now through to the semifinals of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. That is the result. That is what the record books will say. But if you close this tab right now and move on without understanding what actually happened this week, you are going to miss one of the most special stories in Filipino sports this year. So stay with me. Let me walk you through all of it, because this story deserves more than a scoreline. And before we get into it, if you are new here and you care about Filipino sports, about watching our athletes compete on the biggest stages in the world, then hit that subscribe button right now. We cover every single moment, every win, every tough loss, every bit of context that the highlights will not give you. You will not want to miss what is coming next for Eala, and we will be here for every step of it. Now let us get into it. First, you need to understand who Eala walked into this quarterfinal as. She's 20 years old. She is from the Philippines. Going into this tournament, she was ranked around number 47 in the world. On paper, a player at that ranking is not supposed to be making deep runs at WTA 1000 events. These tournaments are the second biggest category in women's tennis, outside of the Grand Slams. The fields are stacked with the best players on the planet, and wild cards and lower-ranked players are usually just happy to win a round or two before heading home. Nobody expected Eala to do what she did this week. Nobody. She started her campaign by beating Hailey Baptiste in the first round, which was a solid win, but not something that set off alarm bells across the tennis world. Then came the match that changed everything. In the round of 32, she walked onto the court against Jasmine Paolini. Now, if that name does not mean anything to you, let me explain. Jasmine Paolini is the world number 8. She won the Italian Open. She reached the final of Roland Garros, which is the French Open, one of the 4 Grand Slams. She is one of the best players in the world right now, a proven winner at the highest level, and Eala beat her. Not in a tight 3-set battle where she scraped through. She beat her in straight sets, clean, confident, dominant. The crowd in Dubai lost their minds, and rightfully so, because what they were watching was a 20-year-old from the Philippines dismantling a top 10 player like it was nothing. But Alex was not done. The round of 16 brought another serious test in the form of Sorana Cirstea, who was ranked around 31 in the world at the time and was carrying serious momentum. Cirstea had just won a title 2 weeks before Dubai and had not lost a match in 7 straight attempts. She was hot, she was confident, and she was a dangerous opponent for anyone in that draw. Alex beat her too. It was not easy. Alex actually fell behind in the first set, finding herself down 4-5 at one point, which is about as close to the edge as you can get without falling off. Most players would panic in that spot. Most players would tighten up, play it safe, and hope for the best. Alex did the opposite. She played her way back into that set and stole it. Then she came out in the second set and closed the match out 6-4. 2 sets, 2 wins, and suddenly Eala was in the quarterfinals of a WTA 1000 tournament. Think about what that means. 3 wins in one of the biggest tournaments on the WTA calendar. 2 of those wins against players inside the top 35 in the world. A quarterfinal berth that almost nobody in tennis saw coming. She was already the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in WTA history before this week began, and she was only adding to her own record with every match she played. This was her second WTA 1000 quarterfinal of her career, and she is only 20 years old. The stage was set for the biggest match of her young career, against the world number 4, Coco Gauff.
After the match, Coco Gauff spoke courtside, and this is the part of the night that genuinely got to me. Gauff, who committed 8 double faults during the match, by the way, because even a world-class player winning 6-0, 6-2 is still human out there, talked about Alex with a level of respect that stopped me in my tracks. She said that even when she was leading comfortably, she knew that Alex could come back at any moment. She said she had seen Alex do it before. Read that again. The world number 4, a 2-time Grand Slam champion, was watching Eala from across the net at 6-0, 4-0 and thinking that this girl is dangerous, that she could still do something. That is not a polite thing to say for the cameras. That is a real competitor telling you that even in a dominant win, she never fully relaxed because of who was standing on the other side of the net. That is respect earned through performance. Then Gauff talked about the crowd. Thousands of Filipino fans had turned that Dubai tennis court into something that felt like home. Flags everywhere, chanting, pure energy. Gauff said that when the crowd was cheering for Alex, she simply pretended they were cheering for her. She said it helped her, and she was laughing when she said it. That is such a Coco Gauff answer. She won the French Open and the US Open, and she is cracking jokes and being charming in a post-match interview after a dominant win. You have got to respect that. But then she said something bigger. She looked around at the Filipino fans in that stadium and said she wanted to thank Alex for bringing a new demographic to the sport. She said she knew it could be tough playing against what felt like a home crowd, but that she thought it was great for tennis. She told the Filipino fans to keep being enthusiastic and keep supporting their player. That is not just a kind thing to say. That is one of the best players in the world standing on an international stage and publicly acknowledging that what Eala is doing matters, that the scenes she is creating, the way she is filling stadiums with people who might never have watched a tennis match before she came along, that all of it is bigger than any single result. Gauff is right. It is bigger than any result. The fact that thousands of Filipinos flew to Dubai to watch a tennis tournament, that millions more were glued to their screens back home, that people who do not follow tennis suddenly know who Eala is, that is something that takes years to build, and Alex is building it right now at 20 years old. Let us look at the full picture of what Eala did in Dubai this week, because when you lay it all out, it is remarkable. She came in as a wild card, ranked 47 in the world. She won 3 matches in a WTA 1000 event. She beat the world number 8 in straight sets. She beat the world number 31, who was on a 7-match winning streak. She reached the quarterfinals of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, only the second WTA 1000 quarterfinal of her career. Her ranking is set to jump significantly, with projections putting her around number 38 or possibly higher with the quarterfinal points added. She remains the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in WTA history and the first Filipino to break into the top 40, and she did all of this at 20 years old. The loss tonight was real. The 6-0, 6-2 scoreline was real. There is nothing to sugarcoat about the fact that Gauff was better, significantly better on the night. But sport does not only live in wins and losses, it lives in moments, in what players do when their backs are against the wall, in how they carry themselves when things are not going their way, in the connection they build with the people watching them. By every one of those measures, Eala had an extraordinary week in Dubai. She gave Filipino tennis fans something they will remember for a long time. She showed the tennis world that she belongs at this level, and she showed Coco Gauff, world number 4, 2-time Grand Slam champion, enough to make her genuinely cautious even in a dominant win. This is not the end of Eala's story. It is not even close to the end. She is 20 years old with a ranking that is climbing, a game that is still developing, and a mentality that held firm even when she was staring down a double-bagel loss against one of the best players in the world. She is only going to get better. The tournaments are going to keep coming, the big matches are going to keep coming, and when she wins one of those big matches, and she will, the context of nights like this one in Dubai will make it that much sweeter. So yeah, she lost tonight. Eala lost to Coco Gauff 6-0, 6-2 in the quarterfinals of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, and it was still one of the most beautiful things I have watched happen in Filipino sports this year. Hold on to that. The best is still ahead of her.
Now, let us talk about Coco Gauff, because you need to understand exactly what kind of player Alex was stepping onto the court against. Gauff is 20 years old herself, but the similarities in age are where the comparisons to Alex's current position end. Gauff has already won 2 Grand Slams. She won the French Open, she won the US Open. She has been one of the 5 best players in the world for well over a year. She plays this style of tennis that is hard to describe until you watch it up close. It is not flashy, it is not about hitting winners that make highlight reels, it is about relentless, measured pressure. She takes time away from her opponents, she hits the ball early, she finds the open court before you even realize it is open. She is the kind of player who makes you feel like every shot you hit is slightly wrong, and before you know it, the set is gone and you are not sure what happened. She is extraordinary, and tonight in Dubai, she was at her absolute best. The first set told the story immediately. Gauff won it 6-0, a bagel. Every single game went to Gauff, and Alex, for all her talent and all the confidence she had built up over the previous 3 matches, could not find a way in. Her unforced error count started climbing, her shots were just slightly off, the ball was not bouncing the way her brain expected, and nothing was clicking. You could see it in her body language. She was shaking her head. She consulted her coach, Joe and Bosch, during changeovers, trying to find something, anything that could shift the momentum. But Gauff was in that cold, locked-in zone that the very best players get into sometimes, where they just do not miss, and there was almost nothing you can do about it. The second set started the same way. Gauff went up 4-0, and the thousands of Filipino fans who had packed that stadium, flags out, voices loud, chanting her name, went quiet. Not the kind of quiet where people are leaving. They were still there, still holding on, but it was the quiet of people who love someone and are watching them struggle and do not know what to say. It was the quiet of people who wanted so badly to believe, but were running out of reasons to. And then Alex did something that I will not forget. She was down 0-4 in the second set. She had just been bageled in the first. She had made 33 unforced errors through the match at that point, which is the kind of total that tells you it is just not your night. In that moment, staring down a potential double-bagel loss on the biggest court of her career, in front of thousands of her own fans and millions more watching from the Philippines, she held her serve. And then she broke Gauff. Suddenly, it was 2-4, and the Filipino section of that stadium came alive again like someone had flipped a switch. The flags started waving, the noise came back, the chanting started, because even at 2-4, down a set and a break, those fans had something to believe in again. They had a reason to be loud. Alex's last double-bagel loss, a 6-0, 6-0 defeat, came back in 2022 at the Madrid Open qualifiers. She was 16 years old. She was not going to let that happen again. Not here, not on this stage, not in front of the people who had traveled from the Philippines to watch her play. Gauff came back and won the next 2 games to close it out 6-2, so the comeback did not materialize into a full rally, but that moment, that hold and that break when everything was falling apart told you everything about who Alex Eala is as a competitor. It would have been so easy to just get it over with, to mentally check out, get to the locker room, and process the loss. Instead, she fought. She made Gauff earn every single game. She gave her fans a moment to cheer for, and she gave herself a piece of pride to walk away with.